The history of the Philippines during the Marcos era, spanning from 1965 to 1986, is a complex tapestry woven with threads of political ambition, cultural evolution, and social upheaval. It was a time marked by the leadership of Ferdinand Marcos, whose rise to power and subsequent declaration of martial law would leave an indelible mark on the nation's psyche and trajectory. Ferdinand Marcos, a war veteran and lawyer, first assumed the presidency in 1965 after a decisive electoral victory. His initial years were characterized by promises of reform and progress as he sought to modernize the country's infrastructure and stimulate economic growth. The new society he envisioned was one of development and prosperity, but it soon became evident that these aspirations were overshadowed by a growing authoritarianism. The Philippine economy initially flourished, with foreign investments pouring in, but deep-seated issues such as corruption, inequality, and landlessness persisted, sowing seeds of discontent among the populace. By 1972, the political landscape had shifted dramatically. Marcos, facing increasing opposition from various sectors, including students, labor groups, and the Catholic Church, declared martial law. This pivotal moment was justified by the government as a necessary measure to restore order and combat the rising threat of communism and insurgency. However, the reality was far more sinister. Under the guise of national security, the Marcos regime unleashed a wave of repression. Civil liberties were curtailed, media censorship was imposed, and dissent was met with brutal force. Thousands of Filipinos were arrested, tortured, or disappeared, marking a dark chapter in the nation's history. Despite the oppressive environment, the martial law era also ignited a vibrant counterculture. Artists, writers, and musicians began to express their dissent through their work, creating a rich tapestry of protest art that resonated with the struggles of the Filipino people. The music of the time, particularly the folk and rock genres, became a vehicle for social commentary, with songs that spoke of injustice, hope, and the longing for freedom. Iconic figures such as the folk singer Asen and the band Apo Hiking Society emerged, their lyrics echoing the sentiments of a generation yearning for change. The cultural landscape was not solely defined by resistance. It also saw a resurgence of Filipino identity. The Marcos regime, despite its authoritarian nature, promoted a sense of nationalism. The government invested in cultural programs that celebrated Filipino heritage, arts, and traditions. This period witnessed the rise of indigenous art forms and the revival of traditional practices as the nation grappled with its colonial past and sought to forge a unique identity. Festivals celebrating local culture flourished, and the country's rich tapestry of languages and traditions began to gain recognition and appreciation. As the years progressed, economic challenges began to mount. The initial influx of foreign capital gave way to a crippling debt crisis, exacerbated by rampant corruption and mismanagement. The Marcos regime's reliance on cronyism led to the concentration of wealth among a small elite, while the majority of Filipinos faced poverty and unemployment. The economic decline fueled public dissatisfaction, and calls for reform grew louder. The assassination of opposition leader Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. in 1983 became a turning point. Aquino, a prominent critic of Marcos, was shot upon his return from exile, igniting widespread outrage and protests. His death galvanized the opposition and united various factions against the regime, leading to a resurgence of activism across the country. The aftermath of Aquino's assassination saw the formation of the People Power movement, a non-violent uprising that would ultimately challenge the Marcos regime. The movement drew people from all walks of life, transcending social, economic, and religious divides. Filipinos flocked to the streets, armed with nothing but their voices and a collective yearning for democracy. The iconic image of millions gathering at EDSA in February 1986, wrapped in yellow ribbons, symbolized hope and resistance. The peaceful protests captured the world's attention, showcasing the power of unity in the face of oppression. As the movement gained momentum, the Marcos regime began to unravel. The fraudulent snap elections in February 1986, called by Marcos in a desperate bid to maintain power, further exposed the regime's illegitimacy. The elections, marred by widespread allegations of cheating and violence, led to a crisis of confidence. The opposition, led by Corazon Aquino, Ninoy's widow, emerged victorious in the eyes of the people, even if the official results declared Marcos the winner. The ensuing chaos culminated in the dramatic flight of the Marcos family to Hawaii, marking the end of their two-decade rule. The fall of Marcos ushered in a new era for the Philippines, characterized by a renewed commitment to democracy and human rights. Corazon Aquino assumed the presidency, becoming the first female president in Asia, and her administration sought to address the injustices of the past. The transition was fraught with challenges, as the nation grappled with the legacies of martial law, economic instability, and social divisions. Yet, the spirit of the people power movement remained a powerful reminder of the resilience and determination of the Filipino people. The Marcos era, while marked by repression and turmoil, also ignited a profound cultural awakening. The arts flourished, and a new generation of writers, filmmakers, and musicians emerged, drawing inspiration from the struggles and triumphs of their predecessors. The memory of the martial law years has since become an essential part of the national narrative, shaping contemporary discussions about governance, accountability, and the importance of safeguarding democracy. As the Philippines continues to navigate its complex history, the lessons of the Marcos era serve as a poignant reminder of the enduring power of the people's voice. The struggle for justice, equality, and freedom remains a central theme in the nation's ongoing journey, echoing the aspirations of those who dared to dream of a better future amidst the shadows of oppression. The legacy of this tumultuous period is not merely a tale of hardship, but a testament to the resilience and unwavering spirit of a nation that continues to rise, united in its quest for a brighter tomorrow.